Hello and welcome to my latest video. So today I thought we'd take a look at my Dell Mapback collection. Now about a year ago when I was just sort of starting on YouTube, I did do a video of about half of my Dell Mapbacks. This time we're going to do pretty much the whole run of them, but as we go along I am also going to perhaps give these a bit of a clean-up. Some of them have got some pencil marks inside, and the covers, the ones that are shiny anyway, could do with a little bit of tidying up. So that's what we'll do whilst we go through the whole collection and have a look at them. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Right then, so let's go through the first of my Dell Mapbacks. So this particular one is number 25, and as you can see, it's got like the little keyhole publisher's emblem down there, and it says number 25 on there. This is Speak No Evil, and you've got the three sort of wise monkeys there. Hear no evil, speak no evil, say no evil. It says it's a murder mystery by Mignon G. Eberhardt. That's the name, I don't really know. This one's actually really nice. There's not a lot wrong with this one whatsoever. This has got a classic map back, so that's how they got their name, because predominantly there was a woman called Ruth Bellew, and she wrote almost all, or she designed and drew, I should say, almost all of the maps that you find on the back of these great books. Now, the Dell Mapback started in 1943, and there are 500 with the maps on before they became sort of the gimmick wore off really, and they started getting into their normal sort of paperbacks, of which I've got some at the end here. This one actually does have a tiny bit of pencil in the front there. So what we're going to do as I go through these, I am going to ever so gently tidy these up a little bit as we go along, because this is something I really should have done a long time ago, and it will just make them all the more better. I will also, I think they have picked up some dust along the top edge, so once again I shall be giving that a dust off, but I'll do a few at a time. Now this particular one, like a lot of the early ones, it's got a beautiful laminated cover, and as far as I can see, I don't think there's any marks at all on that. Nothing. No, I think that one's absolutely fine. Chances are this is one that's actually been cleaned already by myself, but I did just forget to take out that little bit of pencil. So I shall pop that one over there, because we do have quite a few of these to get through. So this one, I have a suspicion that what's happened is I picked up quite a lot of these, and I have a suspicion that this one has had that original laminate peeled right off, and that's made it like a matte finish, so can't do too much with this cover. I wouldn't really recommend polishing it. Murder Challenges Valcourt in the Lesser Antilles case, little mark there. There's the map on the back there, Islands in the West Indies, scene of murder in the Lesser Antilles case. So prominent, the whole point of the Mapbacks was to give prominent points within the stories a bit of substance actually on the back, so that the reader could sort of follow along, as it were. This one actually has also got a tiny little like 35 cents or something like that. That may have been the original price back in the day, possibly, I don't know, but we'll give it, I'll gently rub that one out. There we are, just to keep it as nice as possible. I did pick up quite a lot of Mapbacks quite recently. Well, I say quite recently, maybe about a year or two ago, at the London Paperback Fair, and there was a dealer there who had loads and loads of them, and they were only like £3 each, or 4 for a tenner sort of thing. So I picked up a load that I didn't have, including this one here. So the case of Jenny Bryce, Mary Roberts Reinhardt. Not a lot I can do with this one. He's a bit worn, but it is what it is, isn't it? You know, you can't clean every book. You can just get them looking as good as you can. Really, it's just how it is. The main thing is that's perfectly readable. The Body That Wasn't Uncle. This is number 52. George Worthing Yeats. Now this one actually does have the little edge there has come off, so I'd be tempted just to stick that one down a little bit, just to put that back in to stop it getting any worse. The rest of the book doesn't seem too bad. The Villiers Farm, Scene of the Murder, and The Body That Wasn't Uncle. Quite a nice sort of perspective jacket there with is that supposed to be like a bullet train or something like that coming along? Yeah, quite nice, that one. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly pause there and go and grab my my glue, and I'll just glue that little edge down. Now the way I tend to do it, I would definitely recommend Pritt Stick rather than one of the cheaper ones that you can get. But as you can see, if I've got this big thick Pritt Stick and I'm trying to get it into that little hole, it ain't going to happen, is it? So what I would suggest to give you a bit more precision is to just pop a little bit of Pritt Stick on this is like a micro screwdriver set, and using this I'll be able to slip this into that little gap which is folded over there, so with a lot more ease. As you see, you're just sort of painting the Pritt Stick on like so, and then squeezing it tightly together. If we just gently ease that down, that is going to stop that catching and potentially wearing really bad and then coming off completely. And I'll just leave that to set now. You know, an hour or two, that'll be rock hard, and that'll be that little bit done. So just a little tip, if you do have any odd stray corners that do need a bit of repair, that's an easy way to do it. Mourned on Sunday, Helen Riley. No, this is Dell book number 63. What a great logo that is. Whoever designed that, boy, did they do a good job of it. Just great. Devil's Gorge, Scene of the Murder in Mourned on Sunday. That's great, isn't it? Nice cover, that one. And then we've got The Red Bull by Rex Stout. This is Dell number 70. This is a Nero Wolf mystery, and these covers are just really great, aren't they? I do hope you're enjoying them as much as I do, and they're so collectible. Unfortunately, you don't find them that often in the UK. They are around, but just not very often. I have found some locally, so I think they were sold over here. Possibly Americans brought them over towards the end of the war, prior to D-Day, because they were around then. And I've found them locally. Back in the 80s and 90s, I found them at like jumble sales and yard sales and boot sales, that sort of thing. So they were around, but not today. You just don't really see them, even in the second-hand bookshops. This is number 74, The Murder That Had Everything. And you'll notice that predominantly they did do an awful lot of trying to corner crime and mystery titles, but in actual fact there's a few odd, I'll let 150 there, there's a few odd science fiction titles in the list. There's some romance as well. I think there's like a book of jokes, and there's an odd film tie-in. So most genres were touched on. It's a cartoon book as well, I believe. But most of them were, as you can see, crime books, and there tends to be the ones that I pick up. Brilliant. So lovely. That's another one cleaned up. So I'm really glad, as you can see, as we're going through already 3 or 4 of them, we've had to like just do little things to get them back to A1. The gold comes in bricks. Look at that, AA Fair. What a great cover that one is. This has got that laminated front, but once again, I don't think there's a lot we can do with it. There has been a bit of loss on the spine here, but once again, it's gone. It's a brittle cover, this one. You have to think of the time that these were being printed as well. I know there wasn't anything like the paper rationing in the USA that there was in the UK, but even so, these books have, they are rapidly approaching 80 years old now. These early ones date back to 1943, so it's not like they've been through a bit. This is number 95, The Last Express. So this one is another one which hasn't got any sort of laminate on, but it's actually in really nice condition. A Duncan MacLean detective story. Who was Duncan MacLean? Quite an arty sort of look at the skull there. That's great, isn't it? Really, really good, that. The Last Express. A hidey-ho nightclub scene of this is the hidey-ho nightclub scene of a murder in The Last Express. Really nice, isn't it? I do like the way that the actual text is laid out in these books. They're very easy on the eye. This has got £3 to take out. One thing I don't like about the Dell books, and it's the only thing I don't like because I love the way they're designed, I love the covers, and I love the novelty of the mapbacks. I mean, there's nothing greater. The problem I've got with them is that on the whole, they're abridged. So the books aren't the whole books in a lot of cases, and that I have never ever liked. I've always hated books that have been abridged. I like the full story. So, it is what it is, unfortunately. Dell 99, so now Voyager, and this is, look, a Dell romance, because it's got like a heart in the key ring there. Really nice copy of this one. This one, once again, it's a shiny one. There doesn't seem to be any sort of marks on it, and it makes me think that I've already given it the shiny treatment over the course of time. And one thing I know we haven't done, just checking inside there, see if there's any other marks. No. One thing we haven't done, and I should have, so I'm going to do it now, is I wanted to give the top edges a bit of a wipe down with my toothbrush, because these have been on the shelf and they do tend to pick up a bit of dirt. If I put this right by the microphone, you can hear the sound of it. So quite a bit of dust came off the top of those. Not plumes, I should say, but enough to show that needed to be done. Some of these have been in a little pile on the bookcase, just like you see them now. Other ones have been sort of stood up in the normal sort of traditional book way, and those are the ones that have ended up getting a bit of dust on them. I do have, and eventually I will get around to doing sort of a tour of my library about where I keep all my stuff. I've got like beer mats, beer towels across the top of the bookcases, a couple of the bookshelves, and that stops dust getting onto the actual tops of the books, which is what we've just been dusting off, in fact. So 107, The Deadly Truth, Helen McCloy. Don't know much about Helen McCloy. Blessing Born, Scene of Murder in The Deadly Truth. Yeah, that's quite a nice one. Now I'm going to have to just put them right over there, just leave them in the edge of shot, because we got quite a lot more to get through. Yeah, so this is a great one. It's nothing to do with Lionel Richie, and it's called The Footprints on the Ceiling by Clayton Rawson. Old Lionel Richie was dancing on the ceiling, wasn't he? A great Merlini mystery. Really nice glossy back to this one. This is the scene of the scene of the murder, Skeleton Island, in Footprints on the Ceiling. There we are, and this one's also got some ancient pencil marks in. This one's 25 cents, so that would have been, what we're rubbing off here was written in 80 years ago, almost. Amazing, eh? Because that 25 cents we've just rubbed out. Now there is also along there another bit of pencil, so I'll rub that out as well. There we are, and that was The Footsteps on the Ceiling. Clayton Rawson, lovely book that. Now we're going to have to start a new pile in a sec. So this The Visitor. Dell 132. Now I'm just looking at this one. This one's actually got some surface marks which I think I can get off. I'm not sure if you can see them. It's only on the front. The back seems quite clean. But on the front, like near where his tie is, can you see that? So I'm going to get my polish out and we'll have a look at that one. So once again, I've got my soft cloth here and my trusty Mr. Sheen. There we are. Now I'm just going to dab that in and let it soak in a bit. Which it's done. Now we're going to... Oh, look at that. Instantly. Yeah, instantly it's cleaned that mess up. So that mess has probably been there since the early 1940s. Yes. And this was just the sort of thing I was looking for in these books, because I knew they weren't all pristine, and I knew I'd never, because I got them at different times, I'd never really gone through them with like a fine tooth comb. But I thought, what better time to do it than when I'm doing a video? So that mark on the spine's gone as well. Then I will just run it over the back, because sometimes the dirt is invisible, you know. And you can't do this with all of them, only the ones which have got a laminated cover which is still in nice condition. That, let's just look at it in the light. Have I got everything off? Yeah, look at that. And look at that book. So remember there was that mark on his tie there. That's come up gleaming, and the spine as well. And that's just the sort of thing I'm looking to do with my book collection as I start going through them. And that's to give them a really good tidy up and clean if possible. So lovely, really pleased with that one. That's come up very, very nicely. Next one we've got is Wives to Burn. Oh dear. Wives to Burn, Lawrence G. Blockman. Really, really great cover, that one. This is Dell 104. Seaside House at Shakapur. Scene of murders in the Wives to Burn. Lovely. Next one, The Lady is Afraid. George Harman Cox. 147. Not in the greatest of shape. That one's missing the corner there. The edge of the corner. But not the end of the world. Apart from that, he's alright. 149. The Black Birder. Dorothy B. Hughes. Poppins Place. Scene of the murder again. It's quite nice at the back there. It gives you the little list of the Dell books in the series. You could send your 25 cents to Dell directly and they'd send you a copy of any of the books that were listed there. This is 166, The Wall. Now that one's got a date, 15th of the 4th, 1947. That's probably the last time this one was read, who can tell. Or maybe that was when it went into stock in the bookseller. You know, on the newsstand. Sometimes they would keep a track of their stock by putting a date inside. And then if it had been on the shelf for, say, 3 months, they knew it was time to return it back to the publisher and swap it out for something new. That's generally how those things worked. All product was sold on a sale or return basis back then, much like the book trade survived on for many, many years. Not so much these days, but back then that's how it worked. Ah, yes, yeah, I remember this one. This one, as you can see, it's number 181. It's actually got some very faint writing on the front cover. Not much I can do about that because it's so deep. It's already been rubbed and cleaned as best I can, and because it was so deep, there's not a lot else I can do about it. But it's one of those things. This one, where the action basically is across Australia. So the map on the back is a map of all of Australia, basically, which is quite good. The entire country is basically the map back. And one thing we will do, just at that convenient point, is give these the tops a little rub down as well. None of those actually seem too bad, so that's quite good. Okay, this was the very first mapback I ever got. Murder is My Business. I think I was probably about 35 years ago now. I was at a jumble sale or boot sale, and I thought, oh, that looks quite nice. I was always fascinated by the American paperbacks because you hardly ever see them over here, and this is a really, really nice one. There's a little bee in the corner there, which for some reason I'm not sure what that's all about, so I'm going to get rid of that one while we're here. And it's quite good that the inside covers of these, in actual fact, it's quite a stiff cardboard, so they rub off quite nicely. I must admit, the early Dell Mapbacks, my friend Gary over in New York, I believe has, well, I know he's got all the early Mapbacks. I don't know if he's got them all, but he's got an awful lot of them. And he went through the first 10 or 20 Mapbacks, and they're just gorgeous. So Gary, if you don't already know, Gary Lovisi is the name of the channel, and he does exclusively vintage paperbacks. Do go and check Gary out because he's done a couple of videos on Dell Mapbacks and they're great. Agatha Christie, one of my favourite authors. This is Secret of the Chimneys. Not in the greatest of shape. Dell did a few Agatha Christie's over the years. Nice little map on the back there. Certainly of interest to the Agatha Christie collectors. And so they did a few. Nice one here, Q for Murder, Helen McCloy. Really interesting, fly cover, that one. I'm not sure what that's all about. The Royalty Theatre, Scene of Murder in Q for Murder. So, that's why it's a Q, because it was set in the theatre. There we are. That one's also missing its laminate, unfortunately, but still not too bad a copy. Q for Murder. Helen Riley again. This one's nice condition. This is number 228. They're all sort of numbered up there. Murder on Angler's Island, with the crime map on the back. Monmouth Inn Grounds, Scene of Murder in Murder on Angler's Island. There we are. A lovely copy of that one. Another one which seems very common. If you look up Dell Mapbacks on eBay, you will see this one. It's weird, isn't it? One Angel Less, Sid Ames Mystery. Not the best copy of this one, but probably one that I've had a long time. Certainly can't complain. So I just got those top four to do the top spines on. And they're all nice and clean now. I'm going to have to push these back even further because I've got another line to come in. We're certainly getting through them, but we're still not even halfway, not quite. So, number 266, Kelly Ruse, and this is Ghost of a Chance. Look at that, what a great jacket that is, isn't it? It's like almost like a ghost holding up a telephone. This one's all right. I'm just checking if there's any sort of surface dirt, and there isn't really on this one. It's all right. But there is a name inside. DC, so Washington DC, and it's January 1949. So once again, that may be when this one dates back to, but that's actually coming off very easily. It's not been put on too hard. It's just in an extremely awkward place. So I can get most of it off without too much trouble. There would be some purists who say, well, look, that's back from when the book was brand new. You might be tempted to leave it. And sometimes on some of my Penguins, if there were certain collections that were put together by people who worked for Penguin, and often they would put their initials inside the books, and I actually own some of those, and those particular ones I have actually kept their initials inside, because it's like almost like an association copy, if that makes sense. It's from a named collection. Okay, the body missed the boat. The body missed the boat. Jack Iams. Okay. Looking at the reflection on that one, the surface luster, and it's okay. That one's all right. Once again, it's got a 25 cents and an original date in there. Hilary Judd's house, scene of the murder in The Body Missed the Boat, with a map of Africa. Thankfully, this is in the top right corner, so it's making it quite easy to get to. There we are. Well, we're over halfway now. Alexander Irving, Bitter Ending. So this is Dell 289. Great jacket in that one. The Anatomy Laboratory, where murder is discovered in Bitter Ending. Brilliant. Great stuff. Oh, this is nice. It's got the Dell. It's got the different logos there. So a Dell Western with like a skull in the middle, and then the Dell Mystery with the eye, Dell Romance with the heart. Good stuff, eh? This one's also got a dealer's price of £3 in. So this is probably one that I picked up fairly recently at that London show, where, as I said, they were like £3 each, or 4 for a tenner or something like that. I picked up a handful of them because, as I said, you just don't see them. And £3 for a vintage Dell from that sort of age, that's not bad really, is it? When you think about it. Q as in quicksand. Lawrence Treat, number 301. Look at that, he's on like a microscope tray. This one's got £5 in it. I certainly didn't pay that for it. But you never know. Sometimes the dealer may have paid for that over the years, you know. Oh, how I love the hark back to the days when you could just go to a jumble sale and pick up a box of old books and it'd be like a couple of quid, and it would literally be stuffed with goodies, eh? They were the days. Brandy for a hero. Well, I couldn't possibly at this time of day, let's be honest. Actually, I don't like brandy, so I would never be up for that. But yeah, a bit of a worn old copy, that one, but not a lot I can really do about it. It's about as clean as I'm going to get it. That was number 306. Armchair in Hell. That's a great cover, isn't it? Look at that. Henry Kane. So a Good Girl cover, that one. Number 316. So this is a map of Manhattan Island. Scene of rough and bloody action in Armchair in Hell. It was rough and bloody action. Yeah, beauty, that one, isn't it? What a great book that one is. Yeah, lovely cover. Not sure if we're going to have to find a Western. I'd like to hope that we could. Leave Cancelled, Nicholas Montserrat. Well, that's a famous name, isn't it? Only One Night Together. Now this, yeah, 21 short hours to share. Look how thin it is. What a thin little mapback. And in fact, look at the size of the text. It's almost like a short story that's been popped into a book, really, isn't it? but we don't mind. We'll take it. Lovely copy, that. Really, really nice. Nice condition. Yeah, 327. 337, so this is just around the corner. Stuart Brock. Murder and mayhem in a swank hotel. Wow. Rackets, rough stuff and murder in Seattle's Swanktown Hotel in just around the corner. Not just around the corner, just around the corner. Wow. How cool is that? Another nice copy of that one. Woodhouse, P.G. Woodhouse. Well, I do love a bit of Woodhouse. I don't think he was anything like as popular in America as he was in the UK, but this is Leave It to Smith. Frantic Fun at Blandings Castle. So Dell 357. I always pick up P.G. Woodhouse if I see them. They're just great value for money. The P.G. Woodhouse books. So if you've never read any, I strongly recommend that you do. Now, I think before we go any further, I want to give the tops of these a scrape down with the old brush here. Yeah, they're nowhere near as bad as what I thought they were, so that's good. That's good news. But it's almost like the finishing touches to looking through them all, and I can confidently say, once this has been done, that all my early Dell books, Mapbacks, and some of their later ones they're all looking really good. You know, they've all been cleaned as thoroughly as I can and ready to be read or put on display. Unfinished Business, Carrie Lucas, another sort of good girl art cover. Dell 366. Not in the greatest of condition. That one's got a big book stamp there in the side, but not a great deal I can do about that. Date with Darkness, Donald Hamilton. That's a lovely cover. Shame it's lost its luster. There's a bit of an A in the middle there. Number 375. Nice jacket, that one. Donald Hamilton. 377, George Harmon Cox, alias The Dead. Another one with the lady sort of half fallen out of bed there. A shame we haven't had any westerns. This one has got some ink, but it has some pencil as well. So the pencil part I can rub out, which was, it said £1. So this had £1 original price. Is that rubbable or not? Well, it is. It looked like it was ink, but in actual fact this other bit looks like it's been written in pencil, so that was good news. It just leaves the original owner's initials, which is E and I, and those I can't do, but the rest of it came out alright, so that's good news. Lovely. Next one is the Kaminda Affair, Matthew Head, an exotic murder in the African Congo. Wow, would you believe it? What a great map that is. A really nice, you really get the feel for it, don't you? Look at that. What it must have been like to have to be picking something like this up off the shelf back in the day. It must have been amazing in the late 1940s. They're just superb. I mean, date-wise, this is, I guess, between 1940s. Yeah, I was going to say 1946 and 1950. This is 1949. That one. What a great time that was to be a paperback reader. I think just before, we'll just give this last four a little wipe down, a rub down rather. And then I'm going to have to make a tiny bit of room to get the last stack in, because we're almost there. And I've got these I've never shown on the channel before, these later ones. So I've got some great books to show. So I'm just going to literally pause it there, slightly rearrange it so we got a bit of room to get the last pile in, and then I'll be straight back. So this is Dell 397. So this is The Farmhouse by Helen Riley. This one, once again, it's lost its plastic luster, unfortunately, but apart from that, it's a really nice copy of that one. Once again, they've got all manner of oh look, it must be the same collection because it's got the initials E and I in. So this one's got a tick which would indicate that whoever E and I was has read it. That would be my initial assumption, that they've actually had a chance to read the book. Then the date, it's hard to say. It looks like the 2nd of the 4th, 1973, but it could easily be 1953, based on around the time these books were published. And then it's got, lastly, a £1 second-hand book dealer's pencil inside. But interesting that that's come from the same collection, and that's probably from those ones that I bought in London just a couple of years ago. And look at that, I've just spotted that. So look, there's 2 ticks next to 2 other books that Helen Riley has written. And once again, they're in pencil, thankfully. So they're gone. How brilliant. There we are, look at that. You need to be a bit of a detective just to find all the stuff, don't you? Now, what I'll do, I'll just move these back a little bit, and we'll start a 4th and final stack, which is what this is going to be, right in the front there. And hopefully that's just enough room to show these last few books. Well, they can't all be guilty. Well, they can. A Desmond Shannon murder mystery, Dell 401. Cool stuff. Really nice. Look at that spine. It's great, isn't it? Really robust. Oh, I don't think that one's ever been read, you know. That looks perfect in every way. Look at it. Beauty. Now, it's got C5/9, 25 cents. That's the original. Once again, that's the original bookshop. Would have put that in all those years ago. How cool is that? And that one there is, I would say, that's like almost like brand new. That it's so tight. There's no way that that's been read. That's a really nice copy. If only they could all be that good. If only. Now, is this a Western? No. Enchanting. What's it called? Yours Ever. It's Enchanting, Bermuda, First Love, Jealousy, A Yacht, Rum for Gambling. Oh dear. I was hoping we were going to have a Western, but it's not to be. That was 446. Getting near the end of the Mapbacks now. This is 478, Plunder of the Sun. David Dodge. A death-dotted race in the Andes of Peru with a murderer crazed by Plunder of the Sun. It's got some writing in the front here, so let's get that while we're at it. Lovely. The Web of Evil. Sounds like a Doctor Who. Number 479. The story of a woman trapped by love. Missing the keyring. Keyhole, rather, logo. Maybe they dropped it for this one. I know it didn't last forever, but I thought it was fantastic. Bombay Mail. Oh, it's back again. 488. A mystery thriller by Lawrence G. Blockman. Nice action cover there. So that's interesting. So a killer strikes twice as a speeding train crosses India in Bombay Mail. So there's the route of the train from sort of Calcutta down to Bombay. And then they've also got the governor's railway carriage there, the governor's car. How cool is that? Clever stuff, these mapbacks. Yeah, they're good. They're really good. You can see why they're so sought after. Helen McCloy, Through a Glass Darkly. Another great cover there. Now there's a little twizzle on the front there, and I'm wondering if it's pencil or not. I think it might be, but it's a hard surface to try and clean because it's not laminated. So I need to sort of follow the groove a bit. I'm not convinced, you know. Well, it is coming off. Yeah, that's actually just about come away. You can see where the indentation was when it was written on, but that's virtually come off now. Another great jacket, isn't it? Through a Glass Darkly. Supernatural murder at a lonely cottage amid the dunes. A psychiatrist detective solves an eerie and baffling killing. Wow. Brilliant stuff. Oh, we're nearing the end now. I'm almost gutted because these are just so much fun to look through. The Glass Triangle, Dell 522, a Kent Murdoch murder mystery. George Harmon Cox. Another great. Look at that. He's got that thing in his hand. He's about to clamper. How dare you? How dare you? This one's got a little tick and a pound in. So that's going to come out now. There we are. The Glass Triangle. And if you have a look there on the spines, that they've got the title and then they've put ... mystery in brackets. And weird, isn't it? I wonder why they started doing that. Is that because there were so many books on the rack? Someone could just say, oh, I'm looking for a mystery or a thriller or something. They could just go for it. And maybe they marked westerns up like that way, or romances. Who can tell? Now, The Gentle Hangman, 526. This one is a bit of a worn old copy. And unfortunately, look, this one also has the spine's been lifted up. So let's just check there's nothing to be rubbed out first of all. No, we're going to need to dig out the old Mr. Pritt stick again. So it'll be just like we did earlier on. We get our Pritt stick and our micro screwdriver, and we're just going to Pritt stick that area there to stop it getting any worse. So I should just run my micro screwdriver along the top of the Pritt stick there, like so. And then we're going to tease enough Pritt stick in to cover the end here. It's not going to, hurt it or anything, but it's got to be better than what's there now. And it should stop it getting any worse. Because that's what it's all about. It's just prevention more than anything. We're not really fixing it. We're just stopping it getting any worse than it actually is. There we are. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Some excess glue there. Just wipe that off. There we are. Now sometimes once you do the first layer, it then leaves a second layer that needs gluing back down as well, but you can't generally do it at the same time. You need to let the first layer dry out and fix properly and then go back and do it again. So if you have a look at this one, it's sorted out the initial tear, but potentially that yellow bit, potentially I could have another little bit of glue in on that side and then glue that bit down as well. But I need to let that initial bit sort itself out first of all. So that's what I shall do. And then I might have to just go back to that one a little bit later. Right, well, we're almost there. We've only got 5 more books to go. And then you've seen all my Dells. what a great one this one is. Lament for the Bride. Dell 621. Helen Riley and Inspector McKee mystery. Murder Makes 3 on a Florida honeymoon. Still got a map on the back of sorts. Not quite as elaborate as we've seen in the past. Really beautiful copy of that one. And that is my last map back. Next is Dell 700, curtains for the coppers. So the map backs have been dropped now. This has got a bit of sticker removal mark there. Curtains for the copper. But I just thought I'd include these just because they're sort of part of my Dell collection. And look, that's got a map inside. It's almost like they're having half an effort, wouldn't it? Should have put it on the back. I'm just saying, guys. Next is, well, the numbering is new now, so these don't really count, but these are the next chronologically, shall we say. So this is Wetback, William O'Farrell. Don't know much about this one, but it's kept with my Dells because that's the ones who published it. Of course, I just remembered I've got a nice Doctor Who Dell book, but that's in a different collection. Some Like It Cool, a Ben Gates mystery. That's a great one, isn't it? This is a paperback original. Beautiful cover, that, isn't it? Yeah, cover illustration by McGuinness. That would be Robert McGuinness. Perhaps not one of his most classic covers, but still very, very nice. I mean, there was no one who could draw women like Robert McGuinness, was there? So yeah, quite a nice edition. That one, that was found locally. That was found in Britain, 1962. That one, and then the very last Dell that I've got to show today is this one, which is Target for Tonight by Richard Telfair. Now this one, look, it's an exciting novel of international intrigue and suspense featuring Danger Man John Drake. So Danger Man, or Secret Agent as it was called in America, was an early Patrick McGoohan half-hour TV show. Fantastic. I really loved it. Ran for I think 3 seasons, and then McGoohan went on to make The Prisoner, and this is a US tie-in to that series. No actual mention of the TV show, so maybe this was before it. Copyrighted February 1962, so this would have been just before the TV show, so maybe this is what the TV show was based on, for all I know. But I think it's quite a scarce little paperback, that one, and another really nice addition to my Dell collection. Yeah, that and the Some Like It Cool with the Robert McGuinness cover there. How cool are they, eh? Anyway, that is it for today. So we've now seen pretty much my entire Dell library, apart from some later film tie-ins and a few odd books like the Doctor Who, which are in different collections. That's pretty much it. So I hope you have enjoyed looking through those as much as I have. Certainly they are blimmin' great, aren't they? They really are great. And as I said, not impossible to try and think, well, I'm going to try and get all of them, because they are out there. Admittedly, some of them are expensive, and the better the condition, the harder they're going to be for you to get. But I don't think it's impossible. I think it would be a lot easier if you lived in America rather than the UK, but, you know, there you go. Anyway, if you have enjoyed today's video, do please give it a thumbs up. Do please consider subscribing for regular vintage paperback content, and I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.